Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2, where we are currently working on getting a landing fairly close to this point. And that will be exactly what we're looking for. But for now, let's work forward and get ourselves aligned a little bit here. So looking at our line here, we'll need to take this around at least an orbit here. I think one more orbit would probably be too far. Yes, it would definitely be too far at this point. So we're bringing this around, and we're going to be coming in somewhere around here or so. That'll be in about 5 minutes, and we want to create a maneuver plan there. We want to burn... Where's the retrograde marker? Okay, whatever. We want to burn retrograde and bring this down to be about like that or so. But the question is, where is this going to be when we get there? Let's warp ahead about 3 minutes. Okay, that's definitely getting close. I want to bring this out over here a little bit, change the timing on it slightly, and let's warp forward again. I want to warp forward. Apparently we can't warp forward here. That's exciting. Well, I guess we'll manually warp this. We also can't turn the camera very much right now, so that's, very exciting. But we're going to need to bring this in. We've got about 45 seconds until this burn at this point. So I'm going to put this out over here about like that. We should definitely align for that burn. Turning is slow. That is definitely noted. But we're going to get started on that turn. And I think a little more retrograde here. Something about like this. So this is going to change a little bit as we do the burn. I'm going to target about here because this will rotate underneath us. So we've got about 8 seconds until this burn starts, and we are turning nicely at this point. 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. So I'm going to burn very slightly to gimbal us, and now we're going to do this burn. Okay. So something about like this. We are out of fuel on that stage. And let's just bring this on in. Okay, we're having some gimbal lock there. That's understood. Cool. So we're headed in this way, and we might make some adjustments. We're currently technically in atmosphere, so that is certainly noted. I want to check our surface velocity here. That's not too bad. Okay, this bar is definitely not accurate at this point. It is claiming that we're not making any progress, but we absolutely are making progress on this burn. So that seems fine for the time being. And remember, as we come down here, this will rotate under us, so we're aiming for this side. I think it'll end up being a little to the north of us or something along those lines, but we just need to land fairly close so that we can roll over with our wheels. That's the idea here. We're already going pretty slowly, but we are currently on a trajectory to land in the water, and landing in the water is absolutely not what we want. So let's bring this over here. Something like this. And keep in mind, we're going to get slowed down quite a lot by the atmosphere as well. So I would like to bring this over this way some. And we're going to burn about here for the time being. This is currently increasing our surface velocity, and that is not shocking. I'm going to bring this back over here a bit. We're now decreasing our surface velocity. Okay. So far, so good. And let's bring this back out over this way a bit. Okay. We're a bit too far to the north. I'm going to call that good for right now. So now we're going to go over to retrograde. We're coming in at about 1,100 meters per second, but I'm going to come over to retrograde here, and we're going to burn off the rest of this. Okay, so we are out of fuel, and we're going to get those chutes out pretty soon. As you can see, we're coming in a little too far to the north. Apparently, we don't like being retrograde. Okay, I guess prograde is fine. The chutes will pull us around. So we're going almost at safe shoot velocity here. In fact, we are at safe shoot velocity. So let's let ourselves continue to go for a bit, but we're definitely a little too far to the north. That's okay. We're going to be landing on this side of this lake, and we're going to have to drive over. But this seems absolutely fine here. So let's just get those chutes out, and let's warp. The chutes should absolutely pull us back to vertical, I think. That's what the center of mass will do, right? We definitely want to be back here. The reaction wheel was holding us the other way. That seems fine for right now. Okay. So let's just drop this on down. We're currently about 9 kilometers away from this. I think that's probably about what we're going to end up being. It's not the greatest aim in the world, but it will do. So we're just going to drop this on down. Even with just the drogues and the unopened mains, we are going slowly enough for these wheels to survive impact. So that sounds excellent. We're going to want to put our SAS into up, probably. But I don't think that'll work once we get down to the ground. So that's fine. But we will certainly have to make our way up over there. Ooh, okay, yeah. So SAS is going to be a bit of an issue for us, I think. That is noted. We're going to want to change our SAS here to be in the SAS only mode, like that. Okay, so that seems fine. Now we just need to gently waft down to the ground. So we've got about 730 meters to go. We're going at 2 meters per second, so this is going to take a little bit. No doubt about that. We could cut our drogues. I don't think I'm feeling that impatient, though. So I'm wondering, how do we turn on the brakes? Is it B in this game? Yes. You have to press and hold it. Okay, gotcha. That's fine. Also, I just realized electric power is going to be a problem, isn't it? Oh boy. Yeah, it is. We're going to be trying to go 9 kilometers here on 156 electric charge. Why didn't I include solar panels? That's quite an oversight. We could try this again. At this point, I don't think I can revert the flight, but we can just recover it. It doesn't matter. So let's get this on down, and let's see how it goes on the electric charge. We don't have any power generation. I suppose we could get out and push with Bill. That's probably an option. But let's bring this on down and see how this goes. Okay. We immediately tipped over. Amazing. So that's probably a center of mass issue. Okay. So Bill can EVA here, but he can't because that's facing down. Okay. That is certainly a problem. Okay, let's put this back into all. Yeah, we can't SAS this. Okay, we're going to have to try this again. So, we've found a couple of problems here. Problem number 1 is in our lack of power. We can definitely do something about that. And problem number 2 is in our center of mass. So let's load this up and detach all of this. Now, I want to look at our center of mass here. Let's see here. I know it's here somewhere. Center of mass. So the center of mass is up a little too high. So what I want to do to counteract that is I'm going to put a battery here to help drop that center of mass a little bit. And then I'm going to put in solar panels down here as well. So we're going to put in or actually we maybe put in RTGs. I feel like there's no real reason not to put in RTGs instead. Something like this. They'll be a little less delicate. So that seems reasonably fine. Our center of mass is still a little high, for sure. I'm going to drop this parachute. I don't think it's necessary. That will also drop our center of mass a little bit. And then if we do tip over again, what do we want to do about it? Well, we could put some weights here and here. Just heavy things. RTGs aren't that heavy. We could put large RTGs. No, that's a terrible idea. What do we want to put down below here? Well, we could put just rechargeable batteries. Like this. With the idea being, we're just trying to get our mass as low as possible. So something along the lines of this. Should do. Okay, so let's save that, and let's give this one more go. We did much better on where we were going to land, but we did have a couple of issues there. So throttle up, SAS on, and off we go. Round 3. Third time's the charm, right? Right? Hopefully the third time is indeed the charm. So I'm just going to go straight up for quite a long time. We know that this rocket has very questionable aerodynamics, which is not surprising, to be clear. That is not surprising at all. Hello, Sunrise. Okay, so we're currently at an apoapsis of about 12 kilometers here. The rocket is losing attitude? No, it's oscillating. Okay, I don't want it to be oscillating right now. I'm counteracting the oscillate manually. Okay, 43 kilometers, 50 kilometers. Right now, I want to be gravity turning. And that's, well, this isn't exactly a gravity turn. Trying to hold attitude and failing. Very failing. Okay, we've got this back under control now. Okay, hold attitude here. We're currently at 73 kilometers. I'm going to take this up to 80. 78, 79, and 80. Okay, that'll do for now. Engine shut down. We're going to head over to the prograde marker. And once we position here, we're going the opposite direction this time, but that's okay. Once we position here, we're going to be circularizing this, of course. And that is a little much. How's that timing? It's mediocre. Something around like that. 87 to 71. That'll do. Okay. So at this point, of course, we want to align to that position. Now, we're almost in space at this point. So this tumble will be under control in a moment. Again, the aerodynamics of this thing are wacky, and that's completely okay. So we are currently in space as of right now. So we'll get this under control. We'll get this oriented correctly. Wonderful. And we're just going to replicate that landing situation. So we're going to have like 100 meters per second left in this time. Okay. I think that's a little bit less than there was previously. But we'll accept it. I'm wondering if we should even include this stage. I don't know. I've kind of gone back and forth on that. But for now, I guess this is reasonably fine. Okay, we've got about 12 seconds until this burn. We're reasonably in position. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay, so back we go. About 8 seconds left on this burn. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Gonna call that good. Okay, so now our periapsis is down here. Our apoapsis is over here. Yeah, this is due to when we launched this. Okay, I'm actually going to revert this back to launch. I want to launch this in a different time. Specifically, we launched it pretty much on the Terminator, and I don't want to be on the Terminator right now. So we're going to launch this one additional time. We'll get there. And we are going to wait until such a time as it is kind of full day. Sure, this will work. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm really hoping this is the final time I launch this thing, because the aerodynamics are not great. Not great at all. We can go either north or south. It really doesn't matter. I went north before, and I'll probably do that again. So that seems okay. And off we go. So, 12-kilometer apoapsis. We're going to be trying that gravity turn sometime around 40. It's going to be spicy, any way we slice it. So that's 30-kilometer apoapsis, and here is 40. So, let's just... Ooh, this is really wanting to tumble. It's going to tumble. Okay, we're going to have to cut the throttle and make our way on around. And come on, let me turn. There we go. Now we tumbled, and now we're controllable. Perfect. So we're just going to put this... Ooh, that overshot. We're going to put this right about here. There we go. And cutting the throttle. Oh, that's awkward. Okay, it doesn't really matter, though. We don't need to be in a perfect inclination here. We just want to be in an orbit, right? So something along the lines of this is massive overkill. We're going to bring that on back. And we want this periapsis to be a little bit higher. The apoapsis is too high. Our timing is quite wrong here. So, still quite wrong. Let's put it about there. That's better. Yeah, that'll do. So we'll just align over here. And of course, we're still tumbling a little bit because we're in the atmosphere. This rocket has very interesting aerodynamics. And by interesting, I mean bad. The aerodynamics on it are pretty terrible. If we really wanted to be clever, we'd put like some control fins down near the bottom, and that would probably solve the problem. In theory, this is the final launch, but if I have to try this again, we'll do that. We're now in space, so as we come around here, this should be reasonably fine. We're going slower than I would have liked because of that one tumble that we had. Yeah, control surfaces down here would definitely help matters. There's no doubt about that. But we've got about 25 seconds until this orbital insertion burn. We'll have about the same amount of remaining delta V as we did before. So that seems fine-ish. Fine-ish. Now that we have actual power and hopefully won't flip over immediately upon landing, we'll see about getting this brought in. So 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's just bring ourselves on into orbit. And we've got a fair amount more DV to get here. We're definitely over-gimbaled at this point. No doubt about that. Time to apoapsis is going up right now, so I'm actually going to let this coast for a little bit. It's still going up? Oh, we're going down here. Okay, that's fine. So let's just raise up that periapsis to just over 70. There we go. And of course, we're now a little bit over on our apoapsis, but I don't really necessarily mind that. So now we need to warp until such a time as this guy is about here. So that's going to take us a while to get there. Let's just warp this on around. We'll take a few orbits. Excellent. Yeah, this is going to take a little bit for that to get there. It's almost in position on the night side. We're not going in on the night side. I can tell you that right now. So this is going to definitely take a little bit. I'm actually going to do this over at the tracking station where we can warp a little faster. So that'll be okay. So let's do exactly that. Oh, right. We still have this loaded in. We have to go to the KSC first and then to the tracking station. Mildly irritating, but it's okay. Now we can warp at a normal speed. So this is 100x. We're going to go to 1000x for right now, and we're watching for this approaching. Okay. So it's going to be on this next orbit that we're going to have our closest approach, I believe. Do we take one more orbit here? This isn't particularly close. Let's try one more orbit. Okay, now we would have to do a dogleg maneuver up over here. I think that's fine, though. So let's grab our Fly Safe 19, right? Yeah, this is the Fly Safe 19. And we are going to, from here, start up a burn sometime around here or so. We're going to do a bit of a dogleg maneuver here, heading out this direction, but we're also going to retrograde this a fair amount. Okay, so that is all of our fuel being burned right there in theory. I want to change the timing on this a little bit. Our main problem here is that I'm not convinced that we have enough horizontal movement here. Wait, what? Okay, I'm very confused by what this is telling me right now. Okay, so something like this, but we can move this back to be over here and toss in a little bit more movement out this way. Something like that. And then place it about there. So that'll be in about 5 minutes. Let's warp ahead to about here and see what that looks like. It's undershooting. Okay. So what about something like this? This is telling us no fuel, and it's just barely over the no fuel marker. So maybe if we position it about like that, that'll be in about 1 minute. We'll get aligning to that. And we'll see how this goes. But I'm not convinced that we're in a great lineup here. And what time would it be here? 4 minutes to that point? Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. All we have to do is land close-ish. I'm going to change the timing on this slightly, actually, to about up here. This is going to come in like this, though, isn't it? Yeah. So about here-ish, perhaps. Okay. We're basically in line for this burn at this point, and we'll see how this ends up going. It'll be interesting for sure. Okay. So we've got about 18 seconds, and let's get ready for that. 10 seconds, and 3, 2, 1, lock. Okay. So, let's see how this burn goes. We're definitely bringing this in at this point. We're a bit high up, which isn't necessarily great. Are we going to have to try this again? We might. It's a little complicated doing these sorts of landings on bodies with atmospheres, because I find it really hard to predict how much atmospheric drag we're actually going to get. So predicting our actual landing position is really, really tough when landing on an atmospheric body. But this is good practice for our lathe mission, so that is absolutely wonderful. We are, of course, going to burn off the remainder of this fuel, and we're going to just warp through that burn a little bit here. Okay. So we're in the atmosphere now. And we're just continuing to bring this down. This is nowhere near where it's projecting. Okay. That is not even close to where it was projecting that we were going to be. And we weren't even in the atmosphere for that, I want to point out. Okay. Very awkward indeed. Well, we're going to go around to retrograde and see if we have this burn off. Our target point is up over here. And our projection was not even close. So, there's that. We're moving very quickly right now. However, that's beginning to decrease at this moment. Good. We definitely need to slow down a bit here. We're seeing some heating, but we flip around, and that's actually a good thing right now. We do want that flip around to happen, so that's okay. We're fighting to go back to retrograde, but this is fine for the moment. And I think we're just going to have to drive all the way over here, but that's not the end of the world. We can definitely do that. Okay, I'm getting these chutes out. The chutes should pull us back around to retrograde. There we go. And we can toggle the brakes on like that. Sounds good. Okay, let's bring this on down. And we're just going to have to drive like 40 kilometers over here. Yeah, we would have been a lot closer if the maneuver node hadn't have lied to me. But okay. The maneuver node definitely did lie there. But that's okay. We can drive 40 kilometers. It'll take some time. But that's mostly going to happen off camera. So that sounds decent. For now, we're just going to continue to slow on down. These drogue chutes are going to get this under control. And yeah, 35-ish kilometers. Sounds good. So the drogues bring us down to 17.4 meters per second. The mains will, of course, be fine as well. The real question is, can we just drive straight over this stuff? And just beeline it directly there? Well, we'll figure that out. For the time being, I want to put this in hold position on SAS. I also want to move this guy at this point into SAS only and hope that we don't tip over on landing. Now, this time I'm not going to be warping while we land. But we are going to continue to warp here. Dropping this parachute barely changed anything in terms of our landing velocity, so that is certainly noted. 40 kilometers away is not where I wanted to be. That's for sure. And it's not where the maneuver node said we were going either, so awkwardness ensues, but we can definitely travel that distance. That is a doable thing. So I don't want to have to launch this again, and we're not going to, if we can at all help it. So, we're about 600 meters up right now, and I just want to get down onto the ground and start this journey when we put the cut in. So, that'll be relatively fine. We're still heading down towards the ground. We're about 500 meters up right now, and that definitely requires some additional movement. No doubt about that. 2.7 meters per second. Well, we'll just gently waft on down. And I want to check here. Yeah, we can turn our wheels. Brakes are currently on. We can turn our wheels without getting our SAS messed up. So that sounds good. Okay. So we're about 200 meters up right now. We're going to be coming down, like, right down over here. That's absolutely fine, and we've got quite a journey ahead of us to get up here. As I said, I'm not going to make you sit through that journey, but it's going to be a pretty lengthy one. I can't believe how far off the maneuver node actually was. That's insane. Okay, let's not be warping as we hit the ground here. Brakes are on. What? What was that? That had to be the center of mass, right? Why would its default position be like this? The mass is definitely below, like the center of mass is down here. Center of mass is about here. awkward. Bill, once again, can't EVA because the center of mass puts it right like this. Very, very awkward. So, that's a problem. No doubt about it. That is a problem. What do we want to do about that? I don't know, but I was quite confident that this wouldn't happen again. Bill cannot get out and try to knock this back up into an upright position. So we need an even lower center of mass. That's absurd. I wish there was a better way to test this. Well, I suppose there is. Let's actually take this back to the VAB. We're going to have to try it again, no matter what. That is stuck, and it would just be a recovery, right? So we'll have to try it again, no matter what. And I would definitely like to just take this. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not going to save this, but I'm just going to put this on the pad and see if it tumbles over. No. On the pad, it's completely fine. I can't even make it fall over on the pad. Okay. I can make it fall over like that. I'm checking the balance point here. It's about where we're at. This is the balance point. So we can roll over like this. Okay, so this is about what we were experiencing before, right? SAS is currently holding us in this position. So I want to move the SAS like this. We're actually able to fully flip this thing here. We were not able to do that before. Okay, I think what this is indicating is that we require additional SAS. Now, I want to put this in SAS only on the torque mode. This seems quite stable here on the pad. I have no idea why it always flipped to rest on this side. Because, yeah, this is very, very stable here. It's really not wanting to tip all that much. I will say controls are reversed, but, you know, whatever. Okay, let's just do this. Can we flip it like this? No, this is very, very stable. Except for when we deploy it to the field where it immediately falls over. Like, I currently cannot actually flip this thing. Okay, there we go. We managed to flip it, but barely. And we can't bring it back at this point. Okay, so it's clear that we definitely need to have some additional SAS on this, and I'm going to put that, like, underneath the battery. So I'm going to load in the original version of it before we took off the rocket. I'm going to load in this guy. And I want to put in some SAS right here. I think that will help matters a lot. That'll lower our center of mass some, but more importantly, that will also give us, yeah, that's too big. More importantly, that will also give us additional control here. So if we check our center of mass here, we can see the center of mass is about here. It's still a little higher than I would like. Can we put something down here, perhaps, to further lower that center of mass? We could try another reaction wheel here, but I really don't think that would survive the landing. I think just having that reaction wheel will probably be enough. Let's put this guy on. We'll save it. And I'm going to run some tests next episode, and we're going to get this done. I promise you, we're going to get this done. This is way more complicated than it needed to be, but we'll get there. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.